Hi everyone, my name is Shanna Dix and I'm the Individual Membership Manager at AISES. This video is to provide you with some travel tips that can be useful for all travel, but will be especially handy if you're on your way to the AISES National Conference this year. We hope to give you some insight into traveling, especially if you're traveling for the first time and are a little nervous. This may not cover all situations, but should cover the areas most people encounter, such as booking and taking a flight, traveling to and from the airport, and checking into your hotel. First off, let's start with the number one most important piece: travel safety. If you're traveling alone, you may want to take extra precautions to ensure you are being a smart traveler when it comes to safety in a new place. The first tip is to be mindful and prepared. Have a plan for how you will get safely from place to place. Don't take rides from strangers, and know local emergency locations. Be aware of who is around you and keep your plans close to the vest. When you check into your hotel, ensure that the concierge doesn't accidentally say your room number out loud. If they do, you can ask for a new room so that those around you don't know where you're staying. If you feel unsafe, you can ask staff to escort you to your room or car. It's a good idea to have protection items such as a personal alarm, a door jammer, and a drink tester easily accessible. It's also a good idea to tell someone where you're going and when you plan to be back so that you can know when they need to check in on you. Make sure to keep your phone charged and research the places you are staying. And finally, always trust yourself. If something feels wrong, remember that you are not required to be polite or convenient. Making a scene is a great way to ensure you have witnesses to help keep you safe. Listen to the feeling that says you may be in a dangerous situation and don't minimize it or assume you're being paranoid. Better safe than sorry. Now, let's get into some travel details. First off, booking a flight. Make sure that the name you enter matches the ID you'll be using for your travel so that your ticket and your ID match. Also, double check that you're booking for the correct dates and times, as changing your flight may result in additional fees, so make sure you're booking the flight that you want. For those of you traveling by car, please make sure that you are following all local laws and policies, and please do not drive distracted. We know it can be tempting, but please drive safely. It's also a good idea to download your maps ahead of time in case you don't have service. Also, keep in mind that once you get to your destination, especially if it's a hotel, you may have to pay for parking. Some hotels charge quite a bit, so don't forget to budget for that. Okay, so back to those who are flying. Let's talk about checking in for your flight. In many cases, you can and will want to check in about 24 hours ahead of your flight. Remember this for your flight home, too. This tells the airlines that you do still plan on being on the flight, so hopefully you don't get bumped. After checking in online, you can opt to print your boarding pass or have it available on your phone. You can also get it printed when you get to the airport, whichever option you're most comfortable with. A helpful tip is to text yourself your flight code. Your flight code will typically be 2 letters followed by 4 numbers found on your flight confirmation. For example, if I'm flying United, the 2 letters will be UA, so I can send myself the flight code UA2289. Then I can click the message and it will have a link to preview my flight. The link will update in real time, so I can see if my flight has been delayed, where to pick up my baggage, and what gate to board on. I can also text this to the person picking me up so that they can see exactly what time my flight will arrive. Once at the airport, you may also need to check baggage, so go to your airline check-in area for that, and keep in mind that there may be a baggage fee. Depending on your airline, fees usually start at about $25 per bag and can go up from there. Also, do not forget your ID. You will not be allowed to fly without your ID. Okay, now that you're checked in at the airport, you will need to go through security. Make sure that you get to the airport in plenty of time. Security lines can get long and be time-consuming. Also, read all the signs in your area. Each airport seems to do things differently, so you want to be prepared when it's your turn with your ID and boarding pass. Some places may ask you to take out electronics bigger than a cell phone and put it in a separate bin, but some places don't, so just be ready. Another thing to be ready to take out and put in a separate bin could be large jewelry and also sequoia medallions. Security may ask to look into your bag, so be ready for that, or just go ahead and take them out of your bag ahead of time and place them in a bin. Another thing I know many people of color have experienced when going through security is having their hair trigger a search. You can keep it down through security so it's less likely to trip a sensor for being too thick, then put it back up after. Be aware that they may just want to give your head, shoulders, or back a pat. If any of you get nervous flying, I would also recommend downloading an audiobook or some good music for the flight. That always calms my nerves. And keep in mind that the flight staff are there to help and are usually very nice, so don't be afraid to ask them questions. After you land, if you checked a bag, you will need to go pick it up. The pilot will let you know where to find your luggage, so listen to the overhead announcements for that. Typically, you can just follow the crowd and they'll lead you to baggage claim, but there should also be signs or officials to ask in the airport if you need. Okay, now it's time to head over to the hotel and get checked in. You'll want to plan this before you land and at least think about your options and expect it to take a bit of time to get from the airport to your hotel. You will have lots of options for local travel. You can use an app like Lyft or Uber, which are easy to use but can be expensive. Also, you do have to download an app and set up a profile and payment before you can request a ride with those. Taxis are probably available quickly, but can be expensive. Some hotels offer free shuttle rides to the hotel. Most likely, you'll have to have had made reservations with them before landing, which is another reason why you should plan ahead for that one. You can also research the local public transportation options available. Most cities have really helpful websites that will allow you to plan your trip and give you all the information that you will need to know ahead of time. This will probably be the most inexpensive option, but may be complicated and take some extra time in planning. If you can travel with others, almost all of these ways will be less expensive because you can split the cost. So check in with others on their travel plans as well. Once you get to the hotel, you will need to check into your room. One major thing to be aware of is that even if your room is being paid for by someone else, the hotel will need to have a card on file for incidentals or damages. Be careful with what type of card you give them because they usually pre-authorize your card for your full stay, which can be up to $50 a night. They will release the hold from your account once you've checked out, but it could take several days for the money to go back into your account. This is especially important if you're using a debit card. You could be out a couple $100s for several days, so just be aware of that. You will also have to show an ID when you check in. If you end up sharing a room with someone else, make sure that both of your names are on the room so that if one of you loses a key, you can get a new one without waiting for the other person. You will just need to show your ID to get a new key. If you're not able to check into your room right away, the hotel can hold your luggage for you. You can ask at the front desk and then you'll be able to leave the hotel without dragging around your luggage. You can do the same thing if you have to check out before you're ready to leave town. When it's time to check out, make sure that you check out on time so you don't get any additional charges. While at the conference, the dress is usually professional or traditional. I'm so excited to see all those ribbon skirts and AISES merch. You will want to make sure to wear comfortable shoes since you'll probably be walking a lot. Also keep in mind that especially in convention centers, it can get pretty cold, so be sure to layer up and bring a light jacket or sweater with you. If you need examples of what professional business dress means, please feel free to check out the webinars listed on our website prior to the conference. One more thing to mention that some of you may be dealing with for the first time is per diem. Per diem is the money that you get from your organization for travel expenses. So could be things like food, baggage fees, or housekeeping fees. Housekeeping fees are usually around $1 to $2 per person in the room per night. Keep your itemized receipts for anything that you spend your per diem on in case your organization wants them. Okay, I think that's all the travel tips we have for now. Travel safely, and if you want tips on attending our national conference, we have a video for that as well on our conference resources page. We can't wait to see you at this year's AISES National Conference.